AP Statistics, we are ready to start Chapter 4. That's all about sampling, surveys, and how we actually collect the data that we study in AP Statistics. Let's begin by defining the difference between a population and a sample. So quite simply, in a statistical study, a population is the entire group we want information about, while a sample is just the subset of the population. We usually use sampling when we do studies because if we don't, what we're doing is a census, and that's our next definition. A census collects data from every individual in the population. Censuses are rarely used in studies because they're usually expensive, time-consuming, and or just really difficult to do. In the United States, we do a census every 10 years of our entire population, and the government collects data. They try to do this. This is very expensive. They have to hire people. They have to make sure that everyone responds, and they are very time-consuming. They usually take up to 6 months or more. So let's look at a couple of examples here, and what we need to do is determine the population in each group and the actual sample. So I'm going to talk about some mistakes that students often make when identifying their population. Let's look at example A here. A furniture maker buys hardwood in large batches. The supplier is supposed to dry the wood before shipping because wood that's not dry won't hold its size and shape, and that would not make the furniture maker happy. So the furniture maker chooses 5 pieces of wood from each batch and tests their moisture content. If any piece exceeds 12% moisture content, they send back the batch because they can't use it. Here's the thing, is students often will believe that the population is all the hardwood. It is not. Look at what the sample is, because it's always easier to find the sample. So the sample is the 5 pieces of wood, oops, sorry, got a little sloppy there, from each batch. Let me erase that. Oops. So the 5 pieces of wood from each batch, that's the population. Is a single batch is the population. Okay, so population is a batch of hardwood. And of course, what I underlined is the sample, because they're sampling from the population, and the population is just one batch of hardwood. So be really careful. Look at what your sample is pulling from, because that will indicate what your population is. We're not sampling all the hardwood, just a single batch. So 5 pieces of wood from batch. All right, that being said, I'm going to see how you do on example B on your own. So tell me what you think the population and the sample are in the next example. So I've got that the population is adult U.S. residents. Yes, you do need to be that specific. If you just said U.S. residents, that means children as well. And we only sampled from the adults. So our sample is the 1,500 adult U.S. residents. So be really careful and be very specific when you're explaining your population. So that's a common error. That is all we've got for video A, so a pretty short one. Unfortunately, we're going to have 5 videos, but this is a really big, lots of definitions in this section.